Update. So on my last video, you saw me trying all the things to get the Celica to run, getting it started, cranking it over, and having it sound literally exactly the same. So what I decided to do is call in a mechanic, a mobile mechanic, and I was like, hey, I have this project car, I've done this, and this. I haven't been able to get it to start. Can you please come out and diagnose the issue? So he comes out, does a compression test, all the stuff that I already tried, and looks at it. It has smoke coming out of the intake. It was a hot mess. Determined it's a blown engine. Probably like super fried piston rings or a really bad head gasket leak. He couldn't exactly tell me what was wrong, so I could probably do a leak down test and determine the exact source of the issue. But he's like, yeah, it's not the timing. So that's kind of the update on the Celica. Now, where I'm at going forward, basically where I'm at with that now is I'm saving up money to put a new engine in. A lot of people keep saying do the 3S GTE swap, and as amazing as that would be, if I'm gonna do that, I'd honestly rather just buy an all-track. I want to keep this car like true to its stock nature, and eventually I want it to be a collector's vehicle, so I don't want to do a bunch of customizing and making it super non-reliable. The whole point of me having this car is to restore it back to its original condition. Maybe I can do some fun things that could be easily switched back out, but it's supposed to be a summer car, it's nostalgic, and I want it to be dependable when I'm done, and I don't want to put $3 or $4 grand into doing a motor swap. So I appreciate the suggestions. A 3S GTE would be really sweet, but I would rather just buy an all-track. So we'll table that for now. Let's get started. You may have noticed that I am wearing something different than when I introduced the video. The reason for that is I was getting ready to replace the trunk hinge, and I went in to get my tools, and I found that a pack rat had gotten in and just chewed on a whole bunch of stuff. Luckily he stayed away from my car parts, but he did not stay away from my very expensive riding saddle. So long story short, I was pretty ticked off and wanted to get everything cleaned up and sealed off before he messed up any of my car parts. So now I'm back at the trunk hinge. So to replace the trunk hinge, you're gonna need a 12mm wrench, a 12mm socket. I have an extension on mine. You could probably get away with not using that. 10mm, and then of course your actual ratchet. Here's the old part and the new part. You can see this is what broke, so this is where they usually break. And keep these things greased and make sure to replace these struts at the same time. Like when you're replacing one, replace the other, because this is also part of the reason why those snap so much. Make sure it was braced fully so it doesn't come crashing down on my head. In fact, I think I'm going to move it over to this side just to be safe. Here we go. You like my snow shovel in the middle of summer? Yeah, these are just little baby ones. Alright, so next step is I went ahead and put the bottom brackets back on, and then I pulled out the little nut that was in here. It looks like this. If you're replacing these, which you should, you would attach it to this, but I'm gonna go ahead and just hook in this old one for now, and then I'll hook these two back up. Gotta kind of lift the trunk up a little bit and you're good to go. So that's how you replace a trunk hinge on these 5th gen Celicas. And then the last thing you have to check is your alignment. So you can see right here, this is pretty tight and it looks really quite good right here. You don't want this to be any bigger than about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. But then if you look over here, this is closer to a 3/8 to 1/2 an inch. So I'm actually going to adjust this hinge back this way a little bit, and I'll show you guys really quickly how to do that. Here, sorry, I haven't cleaned all this up yet, but these are your adjustment holes, and this is what you're going to use to line up that gap. But since the other side is so far out, I'm going to start with that first and then do adjustments to this one. And there you go. So not perfect, but it is a little smaller of a gap. So what I ended up doing was pushing down on the trunk lid, like from right here when it was open, and that kind of shifts it this way on the hinge. So loosen up your bolts on this side and loosen up a little bit on this side, and I kind of pulled this one a little bit, and that brought the gap out a little bit more on this side too to give it room. Still a little bit tighter here, but acceptable, simply because you can probably tell this car has actually been rear-ended, so it's got a little dent right here, taillight's broken, and then it has 2 marks here. Where's the other one? Over here. And he told me it was rear-ended. So this piece of the car is pushed in just a tiny bit. So you can kind of see how I can get my fingers under here, whereas over here it starts to flatten. So that's probably as close as I can get it until this body work gets finished. Good morning, guys. I have a little surprise for you. I didn't get a whole lot of Celica footage this week, so I thought I would tack on a little surprise at the end. So let's go check it out. So it's still very dirty, but here she is. Just picked up this GTS for 500 bucks. It's having some transmission issues. The guy said he didn't want to deal with it anymore. Shop wanted too much to fix it. So he drove it up to me. It's got the Cybon carbon fiber hood. Needs to be resealed if it can be salvaged. We'll see. I'll probably try to re-clear it. Of course, it's got the blacked out side markers, so those will have to either be cleaned up or replaced. Needs a new bumper, and now for the bad, the real bad. It needs a new front fender. It is on 3-inch KYB lowering springs. And then if you look down here, I've got some rust damage to the rockers down below here, so that's gonna have to be probably completely re-welded and replaced, which this isn't very common in the Pacific Northwest. You don't usually see this amount of rust, so I'm not sure if this came from another area that has a lot of chemical road salts, but we'll see what we can do. It's got a few little dents and dings. It has 225,000 miles. Needs, of course, rims cleaned up, and it's got a full Skunk 2 Racing exhaust that has a hole. It's punctured in one spot, so I have to fix that. Blacked out taillights, gonna have to polish those and get that taken off, and of course this isn't really my style. but overall the car is pretty solid.
I remember her. I remember her. I remember her. I remember her.
Noticing a few issues under the hood. Plus is it has an Optima battery, so that's great. These headers weren't heat wrapped or protected, so as you can see here, this alternator wiring connector is totally fried. Yeah, that's a problem. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a weaponar intake. I don't love these. I think that all you're doing is sucking in hot air. So I'm either gonna have to redo the piping so that it connects in over here, or I'll just put the stock air box back on. A little bit dirty, as to be expected. But other than that, I mean, overall it looks pretty good. So we've got some heat issues for sure. Want to fix that. I'll probably heat wrap these. Looks like we've got a little bit of a leak right here too. So maybe a new gasket for that. So I'm gonna get her washed up tonight, clean inside and outside. And then the first thing on the agenda as far as big fixes go is going to be getting that transmission fixed. So the clutch doesn't have any pressure, so I think it needs a new clutch master cylinder. And then the car doesn't really like to go in third gear, so I might have a third gear synchro issue. Could mean a transmission rebuild, but yeah. So now you're probably wondering, okay, you've got this GTS. What is going to happen with Sakura? I haven't completely decided. I'm kind of honestly waiting to see how my husband feels about me having two project cars. So I kind of have two options. Number one being that I can take parts off of Sakura and sell the shell. Don't really want to do that just because the body itself is in really, really good condition. So if I can restore it, that would be ideal. But another option is I can find someone else that is interested in restoring it and sell it to them for a really good price. Or I can go ahead and fix it and then decide which one I'm going to keep. I still need a new engine to put into Sakura. She needs a lot of other things too, a new top especially. So we're just gonna have to wait and see. I don't want to like just give up on her because I found this other one. A little bit of backstory on the black GTS. I was gonna buy this car in February. Didn't happen. So that was before it had as many issues as it does. But now he called me up about a week ago and asked if I wanted any of the parts off of it because he said he was taking it to the junkyard. And I was like, oh no, what happened? And he told me about the clutch issues and the transmission issues. And I said, hey, how about you sell me the entire car? And my thought being either I could fix it totally or use the parts to put on Sakura. But then the car got here, and honestly, I mean, he drove it here, so it's not like he drove it 2 hours here. So the fact that it runs was already like a huge bonus to me. This vlog is a lot of talking, I'm sorry. But yeah, so I really wanted the GTS. This one fell into my lap. I want to restore it. I just love the cars. I think that they're gorgeous despite how bad this one looks. So I currently have two Celicas, and I don't know if I'll keep both, but I also don't want to let Sakura go to somebody who's not going to restore her, so it could be something that I end up keeping anyway and fixing. So a new motor in her, a new top, and she'll be good to go for somebody else to hopefully enjoy for quite a while. And this girl, I mean, I need help with a name. So yeah, if you guys have any suggestions for a name. Always open to that. Look for some vlogs on her. I'm gonna start doing, you know, everything I can to fix some of the stuff that is really bad right now. Okay, so I just did an entire interior walkthrough that didn't record. So let's try that again. This is just a very detailed walkthrough if you guys are interested. I noticed that the weather strippings need to be put back into place or replaced if I can find them. I'm not sure. The seat belts are twisted, so I'm gonna fix that. Little things, but I'm a big detail person, so the glove box doesn't close. I'm missing a kick panel over here. You can tell that they use screws to hold stuff into place. Luckily this piece is intact, so that's great. This is missing on the driver's side. And on the door, we've at least got the grill cover, which is awesome. Little dirty, little haggard. This is the same material as the seats that I got, but they're totally shredded, so I'm gonna have to reupholster them anyway. Here's Kirito. These are broken and glued on, so I'll have to look at fixing that. Looks like this console trim surround is totally busted, so it's broken down there, over on the side, and up top, so I'm gonna have to replace that. And the car is just kind of dirty, so I'll have to do a full clean. This is totally broken. It's just kind of flopping there, so I'll have to either look for a new hinge or recover it. I'm not exactly sure what I'll do with that, but I'll get it fixed. Driver's side door. Let's see if I can show you. I don't like the lighting in here, but basically I need a new speaker and a new grill cover. I think those are the subwoofers in the door. I'm missing that System 10 speaker badge for the passenger side. Overall, I mean, the paint's in pretty decent condition. The underbody has some rust that I'm pretty concerned about, honestly. I need to get it up on a lift and see what we're really looking at. I hope it's not like pervasive, but missing a light cover there, missing a light cover up here. I haven't tested the sunroof yet, but yeah, the back looks decent. Missing some pieces, but gotta fix the carpet fitment if I can. If I can't, I might just put this carpet, this cat, I tell you what, I might just put this carpet in Sakura and replace the carpet in here with a different carpet that I fit myself. Let's look. So here's a cat again. Speaker there, missing this interior trim piece. Steering wheel's kind of a mess. Probably replace it with an aftermarket steering wheel anyway, since this car is already kind of modded. But not terrible for how old the car is. I mean, I paid $500 for it, so it is what it is, right? That's it, guys. That is the new Celica. So I'm gonna get to work on cleaning up this baby, and stay tuned for a kind of an after vlog, and I'll have some good project vlogs of this going on.